What do you do if you really want to take the maths challenges but your school won't let you? I generally get two types of emails from students and their parents who've been told they can't take the maths challenges at their school. Firstly, there's the student that tells me they've been preparing for the maths challenges, they were really keen to take them, but their school just isn't going to offer them. They're not going to let any students take the challenge. And I sometimes get this from homeschool candidates as well, who want to enter independently and don't have a school who are offering the maths challenge to take it in. The second type of question I get is usually from a parent, although sometimes from a student, where the student is quite advanced and they want to take a maths challenge that is further ahead than where they are. So they might be in year 7 and they want to take the intermediate maths challenge, which is usually for years 9 to 11 instead. So in that case, the school might be saying, yes, we do the maths challenges, but you have to wait until the appropriate year to take it. Now, I used to be a maths teacher in schools that had loads and loads of students doing really well in these challenges. I've worked with many students like that in private tuition as well, and I now run the Mathsaurus Courses website that has lots of free courses to prepare for all of these challenges, and over 20,000 students have taken them. So I've seen and heard from a lot of students in this position, and in this video I'm going to offer you advice for both of those situations. And the starting point for the answer to both questions is that you do have to take the challenges at a UKMT centre. People sometimes say, can I just enter it independently? And the answer at the moment is no. You need to go to a school or a college or somewhere else that is registered as a UKMT centre, and that's the only place you can sit the challenges. So we've got 3 suggestions for the first type of student whose school isn't running the maths challenge at all, and some of these will be relevant to the other type of student as well. Firstly, because you have to enter at UKMT centre, the easiest way to enter is to really persuade your school to run the competitions. So perhaps you can send them this video and a nice email telling them how much you want to do it and that you've done some preparation for it. Because I really do think that every school should offer the maths challenges, at least to the students who want to do it, perhaps even making all of the students do it as well. Because for the keen mathematicians in your school, the maths challenges can be a bit like the sports day or a big sports fixture. It's something they really build up to and look forward to, and they can earn certificates in them as well that really demonstrate that they are the sort of student that goes above and beyond, and it's very hard to demonstrate that in other ways. If you can find time in your schedule, offer that to those students that are really keen. They will really appreciate you for it, and it's one of the best ways to help those top students in your school achieve their full potential. I actually think getting everyone to do the maths challenges, even though they find it hard, isn't a bad idea. I wasn't a sporty person at school, although I now realise it would have been a really good thing to do more of. I was always running last in the cross country and sort of didn't like it at the time. But so there will be people that struggle with things like the maths challenges, but there'll also be students that really love them and really excel. And it's a way for those students to have an environment where they're the best and they're winning and they're getting the sort of respect perhaps that those sporting students will get in other arenas. Now, if you are asking your school, make sure you're asking the right teachers to start with. Sometimes students tell me they've asked their form tutor or another teacher, and they haven't actually asked the person who will be able to enter them into the maths challenges. A lot of teachers will tell you, no, you can't do that just because the school doesn't currently do that, but there will be other teachers in the school who can help you further. And all you really need is a maths teacher who you can persuade to give up a couple of hours to sort out the admin and to offer this to you. So the starting point could be your maths teacher, but even if your maths teacher isn't that person, there might be another maths teacher in the school. If you're going to ask a bit more formally, the person to ask would be the head of department, the head of maths. They will usually be the person who is responsible for making the entries for the maths challenge, or at least for finding another teacher to do that. Now, if there is no head of maths for some reason, or they're away or off sick or something like that, then you could also go up one level and ask someone like a director of studies, deputy head academic, deputy head curriculum. That's usually the sort of job title for the manager of the head of maths, or you can even email the head teacher and they will probably filter it down to someone who can help you. But please, 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 if you are making a request like this to your teachers, do it politely, do it respectfully. Most people are very good-natured at the end of the day. Just tell them that you are really an enthusiastic student, you've done a lot of preparation, you're very keen to take these maths challenges. Is there any way that someone in the school would help you do that? And I think that is really very likely to get a positive response if you send them some evidence as well, perhaps saying, look, I've done all these maths challenge practice papers, I think I'm going to get a silver, something like that. Now, if your school really does say no, your next option would be to find another local school that you know who is offering the challenge, and they might let you enter with them. There's no administrative reason that they're not allowed to do that. There might be a bit more admin in terms of letting you go into the school, and you probably will still need to get permission from your current school to to go out and do that. But as long as you're not putting a big burden on anyone, I don't see why that should be a huge problem. Of course, again, if your current school says no, there's no way you're allowed to miss other lessons for this, then I think that's a bit short-sighted, but you might unfortunately be stuck with that. It can be a little bit hard to find the right contacts in other schools. My recommendation would actually be to look for an independent school, a private school nearby, just because they are very likely to be offering the challenges anyway, and I think they will usually be quite receptive to this sort of request, especially if you say, I've done lots of preparation and my own school won't do that. Many independent schools, including the ones that I worked in, are very keen to work with other schools and to do their bit to sort of help the wider community as well, partly because it helps them establish their charitable status, but also because many of the teachers in those schools just are very happy to help and would be pleased to see those really keen students from other schools and help them if they can. There's no guarantee, of course, but it's worth a try. And again, the person to contact would be the head of maths. If you can't work out who that is from the school's website, just phone the reception desk, tell them that you're a student from a nearby school who wants to enter a maths challenge, and can they give you the email address of the head of maths. You might have to do this quite far in advance though, so do try and think about this a couple of months ahead of the challenges if you can. They may also be able to enter you at the last minute though. Often schools purchase bundles of entries and have a few spare ones, so worth a try. But let me say, you might not be successful in this process. I wouldn't spend too much time doing all of this, because at the end of the day, the maths challenges are meant to be fun, right? The benefit of them is meant to be that you do some interesting maths problems, you learn something from the experience, and you really enjoy those problems as you go along. So of course, the best way of doing it is to formally enter. But if you can't formally enter the challenge for some reason, you can just do it yourself. They put the maths challenge papers up on the UKMT website very soon after the maths challenge has taken place. So you could just print it out, make sure you haven't seen the questions anywhere, try to avoid watching YouTube solution videos and things like that. If you want to, you could get your parents to invigilate it or a friend to invigilate it to make sure you do it in some sort of exam conditions. It's very easy to mark because it's a multiple choice test, and the marking rules are quite easy. So you can work out when the grade boundaries come out what you would have got. So you won't get a certificate officially, but you can still say that you've done that and gone through that process. And I think if you've done that, next year when you come to do the maths challenges, if you go to your school again and you're just persistent and you go and say, look, I know you didn't let me take the maths challenge this year, but I did it myself anyway, look, and I got a gold certificate or I got a bronze certificate or whatever. Over time they might be like, oh, okay, they're really keen, they're going to do well, it'll look good for us, and eventually you'll probably find that they will let you do it because they realise that the admin of continuing to respond to your requests is harder work than just letting you do it. So let's go on to talk about the second situation now, which is the one who wants to do the UKMT challenges and the school does offer it, but they're too young for that competition at the moment. So they're in year 7 and actually they want to take the intermediate maths challenge, for example, or the senior maths challenge. What do you do in that situation? So firstly, you are allowed to take the challenges as long as you are at the right age or younger. So many advanced students do take the challenges in that situation. So it is within the rules. The situation is, as with the first half of this video though, where you do need a UKMT centre to enter if you want to do it formally rather than just doing it on your own for fun, although that's still a good option. So your options are really basically the same. You've got to either try to persuade the school that it's worthwhile and that they will let you take it with their other students, or find another UKMT centre nearby that will allow you to do that, or thirdly, to just sit that challenge on your own and do it for fun rather than as a formal process. In this case, I see it a little bit more from the school's perspective as well as from the students, because once you start allowing these sorts of requests from students from different year groups, then it can be quite a big administrative challenge. You are needing to take students out of lessons in different year groups. You have to manage the process of who is going to be allowed to take it and who isn't. And sometimes for a school, it is much easier just to have a blanket policy that says, yes, we want you to do these challenges, but you have to do them at the appropriate time. And I think that's a much more reasonable position from a school than saying you can't do them at all, because they are saying you'll get to do all the maths challenges, you'll still be able to do the maths challenge for your year group and you'll be able to do really well at that. And the idea is that if you're a junior maths challenge student, then you show you're really, really good by going on to do the kangaroo and the Olympiad rounds afterwards, rather than just accelerating through. So I think there is, in that case, a much more reasonable case to say it's a good thing for students' education to stay at the level they are and to really do well at the Olympiad rounds, rather than pushing them on to accelerate through the different challenges. But many younger students are prepared for them, and so in a way it is also a bit of a shame that they're not allowed to do that if they want to. There's also an argument that just doing more math and doing more math challenges is good fun, so why not? And many of the students that come to the classes that I offer are in that situation, and I'm always very happy to see that there are students in year 7 or below even who are keen to have a go at the follow-on rounds and also the maths challenges for higher age groups. So in terms of preparation and enriching a student's journey through maths, the challenges at all ages are good if the student is ready for them. So that's my advice. And if you are preparing for any maths challenges for ages 7 up to 18, then there will be a free preparation course over at courses.mathsaurus.com where you can practice lots of real past paper questions with my hints and solutions, and it's a really great way to prepare.